Welcome to another episode of Pels in the Blender. It's your boy A. Davis, man, coming to y'all on this Good Friday. After a Pels win yesterday. It's always awesome to come talk to after a Pels win. There's only been 4 of those this season, but don't trip. We gonna we gonna celebrate it. You know what I mean, and hopefully get the energy back right more in a positive direction. Jordan Poole made his return back to the lineup. You know what I mean? Was able to get some solid minutes, good games from Bryce McGowan, stuff like that. So, man, yesterday was a good game. At the end of the day, like we'll talk about the game and break it down to a degree and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, they won, right? They won and they won comfortably. They won comfortably against a team like these are the kinds of games that honestly, you want them to win and win the way that they want them, right? Every game don't have to come down to the wire, bro. Whoa, what's good, bro? Appreciate you tapping in. Every game don't have to come down to the wire. Like it's nice to you remember like there was not like people was giving a lot of stuff to like the Chiefs, for example. Like the Chiefs was winning a bunch of games last year, but all of them was close. And it's like, yeah, it'd be nice to win some games with some you know what I mean, with a little bit of breathing room and stuff like that. So it's like, listen, we just dying for a win. We don't care how we get the win, but we either been getting blown out, right, or just losing in general. So for people like us who just any win is a good win is awesome. But not only did they get the win, you ain't have to fight and claw and scratch and we got to worry about late game execution and all of that. And all of that stuff still come into play because you got to continue to put the team away. But you did beat a team that was without some of his players, right? You still without some of yours, don't get me wrong, but that team was without some of his players. Drew didn't play, Klingon didn't play, somebody else didn't play, Scoot didn't play, but I don't know what's been going on with Scoot anyway. But all of those players weren't available, but you did what you were supposed to. You had a game at home, you took care of business, and you won, right? So the return of Jordan Poole like gave the team another boost. Now the thing is the numbers from like the averages and stuff like that, right? Like they've been getting close to 140 anyway, like high 130s, 140. So it's not necessarily that the numbers have changed to a degree. They've been playing with good offensive pace. The 3-point numbers were a little bit better, but still kind of around the same as far as like the amount of threes that they got up. But it was a little bit better yesterday. But you can tell that they had more threats on the floor, which is what makes a difference. Like being able to have Bryce, man, shout out to Bryce McGowan, who's been playing extremely well over these last, I don't know what, like ever since kind of JB took over for Willie, Bryce McGowan has like steadily improved and stuff like that. To where it's looking like he's gonna be part of this rotation and is making a solid claim that he should be getting those minutes. Like you absolutely can't go back. For example, you can't go back to playing Hawkins when Bryce McGowan is playing as well. Like not him and PV are like similarly as far as like in the rotation and stuff like that, but you can't play PV over Bryce McGowan right now after how Bryce looks. So it looks like you had a player that you didn't expect coming into the rotation, playing well and helping out. Shout out to Bryce McGowan. So, but you had more offensive threats, which allowed Trey to look more like Trey. He didn't have to work as hard, was able to do a lot more within the offense by keeping it simple. A lot of catch and shoots, right? He still plays well off of Derek Queen. They played through Derek Queen a little bit, but when they weren't playing through Derek Queen, you still had threats on the floor. Just Jeremiah Fears was more aggressive. Like everything to me seemed really simple, which is kind of the way that I think this team should play. Like you playing with pace, is attacking. Like they're not overthinking it. And then in my opinion, like when it's like the players breaking down and stuff like that, or like you having little moments where the offense is stagnant, go to Queen, being able to go to Poole, players like that could just make something happen for you. that's when the team looks more like what it's supposed to look like. So shout out to them, man, for coming out, playing hard, getting the win, and being able to just to keep putting in the work, like as they've been talking about. I've been having the last couple of days as I've been reevaluating, because man, again, like the last couple losses, I've been very critical of Borrego to a degree. And I think the last episode I talked about whoa, shout out to you, Mike. Was good, bro. The last episode I thought I talked about, and I was thinking about the Borrego situation, and like, dog, I don't know if he's the guy, right? Like, yes, they were making strides offensively, but like, I don't know if Borrego's the guy, because I'm not seeing consistent. Like, this team needs to play through Queen, and like the times where they go away from it, I'm just like, bruh, like this is the way that this team wins. And I'm kind of, and then I had the moment of being like, you know what, maybe we need to give him like 20, like, well, one, he got the season, right? As of right now, he has the season. And he got dealt somewhat a bad hand by not having the off season, but again, who cares, right? But it's kind of like, let's give Borrego enough time for his system and to like coach out these habits, create some of the new habits. And when you're doing it on the fly, again, man, like it takes 28 days to break a habit and create a new habit. So like, and they haven't been having practices and stuff. So now that they're finally getting some time, so I had to take a step back myself for being so critical of JB, and just being like, okay, let's see what they look like in 30, 40, 50 games, right? You've been seeing steady improvement. And the thing that's kind of doing it, when you hear like the players talk, you hear Borrego talk, and Borrego has been consistent in his messaging, which if you listen to the interviews, which I'm appreciative of, consistent in messaging is like, we're starting from the basics, right? Starting from the basics. Like, and it's still, I do appreciate he's also like, it's still not good enough. It's still not good enough. So that's a thing that really matters when we look at this from the grand scheme of things, because yeah, you probably could coach ways to try and get wins, but is that going to be something that's sustainable, or is it going to be something that, when you face good teams, you know what I mean, you'll be able to handle, because you're going to ask them to do things that they aren't prepared to do or aren't capable of doing, right? So I will say, I think James Borrego has been, because of the consistency and the message he's preaching as far as like the process, and then obviously having players come back makes a difference. But I appreciate the sticking to the process method, right? The sticking to the process method and working through the basics and getting wins obviously helps, but you have been seeing the progress, and you just want to continue to see it. You want to continue to see it. So like, as far as like the coaching stuff goes, that's kind of where we at with that. Is it crazy to see us winning 3 out of the 4 next games? I won't lie. I am not predicting this team to win until they win, right? Because every time you try to look at the team and say, okay, they should win this game, or because it's a lot of games that you look at them on paper, they should win, or at least contending, right? And then sometimes you win, like the Nets game. There was no reason for them to lose the Nets game, but not only did they lose the Nets game, you got smacked in the Nets game, the Memphis game. So it's a bunch of games that like I thought they should win, or I would have picked them to win, that they ended up losing. So at this point, what I'm doing is I'm not worrying about, like, hey, they're going to win the next 3 out of 4. It's just like, dog, can you win the next one? You know what I mean? Show up, play well, and just try to win the next one. Can we just become a consistent team, right? Can we become consistent? Like, don't get one win and then start being like get away from the process of what it was to get this win. Like, continue to make the habits, continue to put the work in. So, man, I don't know. Like the Bulls was a tough game. Like the Bulls was it was a fast-paced game. We almost blew that game at the end. They had to put Jeremiah Fears in just to be able to handle the ball, get it across half court. But like, do I think we could win? Yes, I think they could win. I'm not gonna predict them to win the next game or anything like that. But I mean, I think it's a good situation for the team, having a couple of these games that you should at least be competitive in, and then having Jordan Poole back matters, having some time off, to kind of rest up and whatnot before you go play these games. I think all of that matters as well. So I think they're going to be in a relatively good situation as they move forward. So you got the Bulls, I think it's Sunday. Yeah, I think you got the Bulls Sunday. So like, can they beat the Bulls? Absolutely. Will they beat the Bulls? I don't know. Like the Bulls going through their own little mini spiral and whatnot, but you are on the road, right? How are y'all going to perform on the road? What's the lineups moving forward? Because, and I'm gonna get into to JP in a second. What do we look like? Because I'll be honest, it's starting to seem like Jordan Poole's not going back into the starting lineup, right? And if he don't go back into the starting lineup, whether he should or shouldn't, I always think Jordan Poole should, but I don't necessarily know if he will. Jeremiah Fears has done a good enough job. If you look at his numbers and consistently and stuff like that, moving forward, that they probably won't take him out of the starting lineup. What would my starting lineup be? My starting lineup would be Fears, Trey, Herb, Sadiq, and Queen. Not Fears. I'm sorry. Poole, Trey, Herb, Sadiq, Queen. Right? That would be my five. And I would have Fears coming off the bench. Fears coming off the bench to take those Jose minutes. But I'll just be honest, man. I don't know if that's gonna happen, especially because essentially Jordan Poole Fears is the rookie, right? Fears is the rookie, and Fears is probably gonna need more support than Jordan Poole. Like the more I think about it, how they're probably thinking about it, as opposed to thinking about letting letting Fears run the second unit. They probably like leave Fears in a role he's been getting more comfortable in. Jordan coming off the injury, who knows how that's gonna, like, how much time he's probably on a slight minutes restriction to a degree. Still getting his legs under him and stuff like that. And when you just can score the way JP can score, it's not that he won't close games. So I absolutely think he'll be in the game at the end of games, but I think they probably feel more comfortable with Poole coming off the bench because his play isn't going to be affected as much, if that makes sense. Would I do that? No, not necessarily, but how consistent Fears has been really good for like a rookie point guard. You know what I mean? Like he's done a really good job. And again, he is the point guard of this team moving forward. So like, do I think they should put him on the bench? I do, because I think he can play better off of the bench. But I don't necessarily know if they will, because you have been getting some continuity with that particular starting lineup. They're not taking Herb out of the starting lineup because of like the defense and the size and stuff like that. So I don't know. What's gonna happen with the lineup per se, but my starting lineup moving forward, what I would do, I would go Poole, Trey, Herb, Sadiq Bey, and Derek Queen. Now as this team continues to get healthier and healthier, right? Now you still have more questions, because at some point, if Zion comes back, you know what I mean? Now who's coming out of the lineup? You taking Sadiq out of the lineup? You taking Herb out of the lineup? I don't want to take Sadiq Bey out of the lineup. He's been great on the boards. He's still been shooting relatively okay. It gives you some space and scoring, and you know what I mean? But you got to have a question now when DeJounte comes back, which should be, a couple weeks, right? You got questions to ask about that. So it's kind of like this it's interesting to see what it is this roster is going to do. Where does DeJounte fit in the equation? I think when DeJounte comes back, honestly, I don't foresee DeJounte starting because one, you don't know where DeJounte is in his, in his rehab ability, I guess, or say how far along he is or what DeJounte looks like. So you kind of have to see DeJounte for a game before you know exactly what DeJounte looks like. But off the top of my head, I imagine he'd be probably seventh man, right? Let's just say the lineup is the same or similar. The only change to the lineup is possibly like Z for Herb, right? Because if Z is healthy, Z's a starter. Like that's just what it is. So either Herb or Sadiq Bey is coming off the bench. With that being the case, then your bench looks something like you coming off the bench with DeJounte, DeJounte and Poole immediately take all of Jose's minutes. Like all of Jose's minutes. You probably see Bryce McGowan's minutes cut a little bit, but he's been playing so well that I don't know if they do that. So you probably see Bryce, DeJounte, Poole as essentially your second wave off of the bench. And, Herb. So let's say Z comes back and then your bench is something like DeJounte, Poole, Herb, DeJounte, Poole, Herb, and then whoever your big is, Missy or Carlo. That's probably going to be with your rotation. Bryce at some point of being that. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think Poole and Sadiq Bey is part of the long-term plans. I've seen reports about Poole. Maybe not. I don't know. Poole said, and this is the thing, Poole and his, and I got to get to Jordan Poole, man, because I've been waiting on JP return, and I thought he was I thought the team looked exactly how I thought he was going to look when they got him back, and I don't think the team. It's hard to see this team without that type of player, right? Without that type of player, like you need somebody that can break down the defense, that can shoot, that's just a real threat, cut, do all of the things that Jordan Poole does. So if it's not Jordan Poole, it's got to be a player like that. But JP in his post-game interview was like, again, referencing being here, beyond this season, right? I think the quote was, we're looking at this for like a player like me and like building habits that's gonna last beyond this year and next year. So like he was referencing being here beyond this year. So again, I don't know what kind of conversations they've had behind closed doors. And then also it's kind of like we don't know what it is that the organization is planning, right? You go on a little. I do think trading him would be a mistake right now, especially when I don't know if they have I don't know if they even know what direction they want to go with the team yet. So I don't think they should just, and that's the part that I was kind of torn about, man. Like just making a move to make a move. I don't know if they should necessarily do that without knowing exactly what it is that they're trying to accomplish with any move that they make. Right? Like if it's an obvious move or something like that, okay. But I just don't know. Like, for example, an obvious move would be like Hawkins for Cam Thomas. Like that's an obvious move that you make that just, you know what I mean? It makes you better. Like it's one of those, like you ain't even got to think about a move like that, right? If those kinds of moves are available, yeah, that don't really make too much of a difference in my opinion. But I'm talking about Jordan Poole make $30 million. Trading Jordan Poole to me is an indicator of something with like what you think the roster is going to look like, or like, okay, we're going young, or we're like, depending on what you trade him for, obviously. But moving $30 million in salary and a player like Jordan Poole is like signaling something with your roster. And I don't think they know what that is yet. I don't even think they fully know what the team is yet, just being completely honest. So I don't know if if necessarily Sadiq and Poole are a part of the long-term plan for the team. But again, when they acquired them, I mean, you're not gonna say that they aren't, but when Troy Weaver, if you listen to what Troy Weaver said, they said when they acquired Jordan Poole and was looking at the age ranges and stuff like that, they were looking at Jordan Poole being here for 2, 3, 4 years. So I don't know. Yeah, they can't neglect Fear's development. At this point, he got to start out, and that's kind of where he's played well enough. He's played really well. I can't deny it. Like, and I'm not trying to deny it at the end of the day. Like, I think both our rookies are two, in my opinion, I think they're two of the top rookies in the NBA. Obviously, both of them have had moments where they've looked like, oh, you absolutely got one of the best players in the draft, right? And you could see, like, not just playing well, but you could see in Fears what Fears' talent looked like or could look like if he continues to develop. You see what Queen could look like if he continues to develop. Like, you can't go back to not starting Queen. That's first off. Like, you can't go back to not starting Queen. He's clearly the best big on the team. So, like, that part, wash your hands with that. As far as Fears goes, he's in my opinion, other than Jordan Poole, right? He's the only player that can really like create and get downhill from like a guard position. So you absolutely need what it is that he's providing, right? And he hasn't been shooting terribly. He's getting better with his turnovers. He's getting better with his decision making. Again, man, I said this in the beginning when we drafted him. The one thing about Fears is he does learn from his mistakes and continues to get better. You could just see him constantly improving. The system that he's playing in now, like, is better long term for the team, right? So I even like not just from a development standpoint, like just from like how he's playing, like the dude ain't missed no games, like he ain't looked like he been hurt. He bring toughness, you know what I mean? Like defensively, he needs some work. Don't get me wrong, but is it enough for him to not start necessarily? I don't know. So at this point, I don't think they pull him out of the starting lineup for sure. He's definitely gonna play minutes regardless of what happens with that. So I don't know. Whoa, was good, bro. Appreciate it. Felt like I won last night. We getting better. They are making progress. What I'm liking is I like the shorter rotations, right? I like the shorter rotations. That to me matters a lot because when you're trying to play too many people, I think it caused confusion to a degree, right? Like, let me see. Who did they play? How many did they play last night? They played a bunch, but like you only had 1, 2, 3. Like Herb got thrown out, and we might have to discuss Herb too, man. We might have to discuss Herb too. Herb played 14 minutes, was 2 for 8. Herb was 2 for 8 from the field. 2 for 8 from the field in his 14 minutes, which is not good, but Herb be getting the shots up and the game was close. Second half, you remove Herb, you get more Bryce McGowan's minutes. Bryce played 30 minutes. Poole played 25. Eve played a little bit. Peavy played a little bit, but you really played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You played pretty much like 8 players. You played 8 to 9 players, depending on how you look at it. I think we should have Queen facilitating while Poole and Trey fly off screens, mixing PNR reps. I agree, and I think so. How I think they plan on playing, or at least what it looks like, is they're going to start off trying to play through Queen, depending on how the defense plays it, right? I think and this is the benefit of having Jordan Poole back in the lineup, or having like Fears improving with him just being better on the court. Like he's doing everything a little bit better. Like his passing is getting a little bit better. His finishing is getting a little bit better. His understanding of what's going on is everything is just getting a little bit better from everybody. But when you have a player like Poole back and Bryce on the floor, offensively playing as well as they can play, then you don't have to necessarily force it through Queen. They can make like the easy play. You see Trey getting a lot of easy shots, or like not having to overly work too hard. Like you could swing the ball, and if you swinging it, like think about it this way: if Queen got the ball and he passed the ball, the next person he passing it to, if it's Jordan Poole, you trust passing the ball to Jordan Poole that something could happen. Or if I swing it to Trey and Trey's next man over is Fears or Poole or Sadiq Bey, who's been really good offensively, you trust what's going on in the offense. And JB has done a good job with adding in the bad cuts and the off-ball movement and stuff like that. So the offense is moving relatively well, just naturally. So I do think you play through Queen, but what they're doing is if the teams are like really making an emphasis on trying to take Queen away, cool, pass the ball, and then we should be able to and that's the benefit of having Poole back, is that you finally got enough shooting out there and enough playmaking, enough threats on the floor to where it's kind of like, oh, all right, like they were trying to leave Bryce McGowan's open. Bryce go for 20 something. You know what I mean? Like having players that can be threats while also defending, be athletic, run the floor, and all of that, it just makes a difference, right? And man, again, I love Herb. I love Herb, but Herb missing the second half, that game was close at the half. The game was close at the half. Herb got thrown out, and then you just can't guard it the same, respectfully. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's something that you need to consider, where I understand what Herb does from like a defensive standpoint. Exactly. Everything was so hard. Everything was so hard on the offense. Like they were very stagnant, heavy ISO team, which again, they didn't even have players like after BI was gone and then CJ was gone and stuff. Like it was heavy. The way they ran the offense was a heavy ISO, like not really too much motion. So like if a team loaded up on you, especially when your best player Zion don't shoot, right? Like it just caused issues for everybody else. Now you got the motion, you got the play, you got multiple people that can break down defenses and stuff like that. That you got, it just makes it a lot easier. And especially with Queen's passing ability and scoring. It's not just the passing, it's the fact that he can actually score the ball as well that makes the difference with playing through Queen. So if you're gonna try and take me away, like it's cool. We have players that are still able to dominate, not dominate. Dominate would be a bit of a stretch, but they can still win their matchups. Like Jordan Poole in a one-on-one is gonna win that matchup most of the time. So all of those things make a difference with what you're seeing with the offense, especially getting easy buckets, playing with pace, and stuff like that. They're fighting every play. Willie excuse they're playing gritty. Yeah, man. I don't know. Like you see, and I hate that Willie was so bad of a coach that James Borrego really has to start from zero. Right? Because part of my criticism of James Borrego was, no, y'all been here for so long. Like you've been here for 3 years. Why do you have to start at zero with this team? Like a lot of the players are similar players. Why are you having to start from this point? Right? And then, but again, that's kind of why I have to come back and give some grace and be like, all right, look, if you're really trying to make a long-term difference, right? This is kind of the way that you have to go about doing it. So just thinking about it, if the concepts take hold now while the season is still early, when they get to the point of the season where you get Poole back and he's in rhythm, and then maybe you get DeJounte back, maybe you get Zion back, and they're playing the style, and they understand, the defensive concepts and all of that he wants to do, and you can build on those throughout the season. Come to the end of the season, you might have a chance at a team looking completely different than what they look like or what they've been looking like the past couple years, and that's really all you can ask for. Let's talk about JP, man. JP made his return, and was immediately impactful, right? Came off the bench, played right under 26 minutes, was 8 for 19, bro. Got his shots up. He didn't shoot it relatively well. I mean, he was only 3 for 11 from 3, but that dude know how to get to the foul line, right? Know how to get to the foul line, knows how to get like the crowd involved, you know what I mean? Knows how to like lift the spirits of his team with some of his plays. And like he's gonna give you some of the spectacular plays and stuff like that as well. So I'm not overly pressed about like the shooting numbers right now. Again, man, this is your first game back. You ain't played. I think he's not 100% still. Like I think he's good enough to play, but I don't think he's 100%, right? So to be able to get 20, what did he have? Hold on, I had it pulled up. 22. They have 22 off the bench in his first game back. Had a block, a steal, 3 assists, a rebound, was plus 18. Like that's all you can ask for. Was a threat on the floor, and the defense had to respect him. Right? Was a threat on the floor, and the defense had to respect him. And that's really what you want. Was able to get to the rim, had the nice spin move and finish. The handle is still there, even though when you ain't really played, it's gonna take you a while to kind of get back to game speed and stuff like that. I think I but I think Poole and like basketball is rhythm, man. The more you play, the better you get. Like we'll probably see Poole look more like himself, 5 games, 10 games, something like that. So you just need you need players like that. And I think his impact was there. He got us hype at the end, and people was leaving a little early. I stayed to the buzzer beater, man. Shout out to you for going to the game. First off, shout out to you going to the game. And it's good to be there to be able to support. I really believe that like you can start get the like football season pretty much about to be over in a little bit. You absolutely can get people to come back and come see this team. One, because they're playing a more exciting brand of basketball, just with the pace up and down. Even the games that they lost, right, have been close, exciting games. Like the Memphis overtime game was a great game at the end of the day to go to. Yes, you want to win, but that's still an entertaining, exciting basketball game. So it's kind of like when you got players like Jordan Poole coming back, and once he gets back into the rhythm and flow of the game, you got Bryce McGowan, who's an athletic player that's been playing more. Trey getting highlight dunks and catching alleys, damn near every game. Like it makes it more tolerable to go to the games. Bryce hitting buzzer beaters and whatnot. So like all of those things matter. And I think as they continue to build off of this, you'll see more moving forward. And I think Poole is just a big part of that. Like the energy, the style, the flashiness, right? Like you all of those elements of the game make the games more entertaining. And I think it gives you a team. And again, man, that's a 4-22 team. So any bit of positive is good for them, right? Any bit of positive is good for them. But I thought he played well. And at the end of the day, I didn't think he's like tried to do too much. He didn't look like, the last time we were seeing him play, like you could tell him and Willie had something going on. So I thought about it this way too as well, because Poole said in the interview, that he was hurt to begin the season, right? So a couple things I kind of want to throw out there, because we were killing the Pelicans. We were killing the Pelicans for how long JP had been out, right? We just kind of like, bruh, what are the Pelicans doing? We had never seen Poole miss this many games and stuff like that. So I just want to pose the question that, like, if did they do right by, and I don't know if JP should have started the season if he was injured to the degree that it sounds like he said he was injured to. But if that's the case, like, did the Pelicans do a solid by holding him out as long as they held him out? Like, even if they needed him for, you know what I mean, because the season was going to shit, right? It's kind of like, like we killed them a little bit, but maybe they did right by JP by, like, being like, hey man, look, sit down, wait till you really get healthy, so that way you can perform like we know you can perform, or you can be more like yourself, right? Because I know when you talk about like what probably pissed you off with Willie, like, one, Willie's not always a great coach. Well, not always. Willie's not a great coach, but if you're trying to play through injury, right, while dealing with the, like, the insubordination sometimes that Willie would exhibit, right, then it's kind of like, I could see JP being extremely frustrated, and that's how you ended up getting the gifts or the memes of him looking at the bench and shooting and like even being put on the bench being frustrated. It's like, bruh, I'm hurt playing, still averaging damn near 20. We in these games, and you're gonna send me to the bench because we had a spat? Like, it's, you know what I mean? It's kind of like a really rough situation for everybody at that point. And I don't know enough about like Poole's character, demeanor, anything like that to make any judgment. So that's not really where I'm going. But I'm just saying, I just know as a person, if I'm hurt and then trying to play through being hurt, and I'm still producing, right? Still producing, and then you put me on the bench when you not great at your job like that, I can see that being an issue, or I can see that pissing me off. So that's just kind of like the pre-injury when Poole missed those games. It's kind of like, I understand where all that's coming from, but also at the same time, like, bro, if JP was hurt, did we like crucify the Pelicans, being like, oh, the Pelicans being typical Pelicans, when in actuality, if JP was hurt from the beginning, now maybe they should have disclosed it, right? Maybe they should have disclosed it. Like, when did he get hurt? Was he hurt in Australia? Like, was he not himself during all of that time? And where is he now? Like, I could tell now that he's still not 100%. He even said in an interview, was like, they was like, are you close to 100%? He was like, I'm good. Essentially, he said, I can't give everything, but I'm good enough to play. Right. So, which lets me know. And then he rolled the ankle or something like that during the game that had me nervous. Right. I'm a real JP fan. So I want to see JP on the court. But if he was dealing with some injuries early and it took the team being like, hey, look, bro, I know you want to go out there and play, but we got to sit you down. You not yourself, and you possibly could do more damage. Then shout out to the Pelicans for even being willing to sit through these losses when you know you got a player that is probably well enough to play and can help you, but it's to the detriment of that player. So it's kind of like, if that seems like a really, I don't necessarily know if noble is the thing, but doing what's best for JP in that situation. And he's back and he's playing, and hopefully moving forward he'll be more himself and be ready to go for the rest of the season. So shout out to that. But I thought his impact on the game was there. I thought his impact on his teammates was there. I think he just fits seamlessly into what James Borrego is trying to do. Right? Trey feeds off of that. Appreciate Trey energy gets better with his teammates. Seeing him helping more, passing with more enthusiasm. Trey absolutely looks more engaged. Trey Murphy looks more engaged. And you saw it in shooting that one, like he was, I think what he was 10 for 12 on a night or 10 for 13 or something like that. Trey ended up 10 for 14 from the light. He only shot 3 3-pointers, but it was fine because everything was in the flow of the offense, right? Everything was in the flow of the offense. Nothing was forced. It just felt like a overall really good game by the team, especially like after the half when Herb got thrown out the game. So like I don't know. I don't know if that's something I think we're gonna have to revisit, like as far as, you know, and I guess we can see when we go into like the Chicago game what the team looks like or whatever. But again, man, shout out to them for just getting the win. One other thing I kind of want to bring up a little bit, bro. Trey has been very like struggled early with his game, and then recently like has put together a really good stretch. I think he settled down a lot more. Uh I don't know if it's necessarily them like trusting the offense, or if it's just leaning more into like he trusts Derek Queen's game, or he trusts his teammates more to where he's not trying to do as much. But as they've been gelling more as a team, Trey Murphy has been looking more like the Trey Murphy that we thought he would look like. Still has a ways to go with his game. Don't get me wrong. There's definitely still some things that we think he can improve on, but I think he's starting to finally find like the sweet spot and where his game is right now, as far as like cutting to the goal, the kind of passes he's trying to make, understanding what teams are trying to do to him, when and how to get his shots off and stuff like that. I think he's growing more into what it is that we think he can be this season, and not trying to overdo it. Like you can tell he just wanted it so bad to where he was like forcing a lot of plays, in my opinion. And I just think like he, even in the other game, he finally shot over, not this game, but the game before, I think he finally had over 20 shots or something like that. Like, I'm not saying that you can't shoot that bitch like crazy, like go still get your shots, but it's how he's getting his shots and stuff like that. He just looks more like what we thought Trey Murphy would look like. And then like his impact is being felt more. He's not more of a, in my opinion, he's not as much of a negative with the over dribbling and then not swinging the ball or not cutting and stuff like that. So good. Shout out to Trey Murphy for like kind of settling his game down, because it was almost, we was getting to a point where it was time to have conversation about Trey Murphy. And then again, like the team is still only 4-22. So good win. Patience. Let's see if you could build off the win. Shout out to Jordan Poole for coming back. As far as like the starting lineup goes, I know that's gonna probably be a conversation for a while. But again, I don't know if one game is enough. One game is enough for them to say, okay, look, we're gonna immediately put JP back into the start lineup. Whoa, what's good, bro? Appreciate you. Yeah, it's been a minute for me too, dog. I just finished my semester with school. I took my last final this morning. So like, excuse me with the episodes, y'all. Like, been, you know how it is. Like, I'm in college, man. I'm in my last year civil engineering. So just been trying to grind it out. Like, that's why the shows be random and stuff like that. But semester over, you know what I mean? So we'll be at work, been a little crazy, but don't trip. We're gonna get to it. We're gonna get back to putting out these episodes. We actually got a lot coming up next week. We got to make sure we confirm, but we should be having some real good guests on the show next week. And it'll be good because we'll have a lot of content. Like JP that made his return. The team finally got another win. Hopefully, come what they play Saturday, Sunday. Hopefully they'll have another win, and then you could talk about possibly a winning streak, right? So with that being the case, maybe we'll have some real good topics for the guests we have coming up to discuss. But I'm not gonna hold y'all too much this morning, man. Appreciate everybody for joining and tapping in this morning. If y'all look, it's Friday, holiday season. I know y'all probably at work getting to it. Everybody be safe out there, man. Make sure y'all have a good morning. Shout out to the Pels for getting another victory. Shout out also, man, to Antonio Daniels, bro. I don't know if you be seeing these tweets and whatnot, but we was at a point where we were struggling, man. The Pels had recently lost, I think it was 7 in a row on this most recent losing streak before the win tonight. What was it? Let me see how many we had lost in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we were on a 7-game losing streak before we got this win tonight. And I'm just of the mindset, man. Look, everybody got to do their part. Like every little bit of luck we could get to get a win. And if y'all remember a couple years ago, man, that the team was on a winning streak, was getting these wins when Antonio Daniels was wearing them turtlenecks. I'm like, bro, AD, you got to break back the turtleneck, man, so we could get some of this good juju going. Shout out to Antonio Daniels. He done broke out the turtlenecks, bro, and we done got a win and the team been competitive. So hopefully we see him in his turtleneck for the Bulls game, and we could get a win on the road. So shout out to everybody that's still been supporting the team, going to the games. And listen, man, it's been a rough season. But again, shout out to Mike. Mike B mentioned it earlier. We only 5 games out of the play-in. And I hate to even think about it that way. Like, I just want to see them get a win, right? Any win. Just get a win, continue to improve, continue to progress, right? And then at the end of the month, let's see where you stand, right? Going into January, let's see where you stand. You might end up, hopefully, right? You could end the month close to 10 wins, right? If you end the month close to 10 wins, you might go into January and say, oh, well, DeJounte back, Zion back, or about to come back. We kind of got a little something going. Maybe there's a move that could be made, right? That's not necessarily an all-in move, but like just a move that could be made to where it makes you more competitive down the stretch, give you some long-term clarity as well. Then you might find yourself in a position where all of this stuff might have a brighter outlook. So I don't know, man. Just one day at a time. Continue to do the work. Continue to focus in on these practices that y'all been able to get the details, iron out the details. The small things is what matter, man. Like be really good at the basics, and then they can continue to build up on that. Shout out to JP for coming back and playing well. And again, man, everybody that's continuing to support this team. But that's gonna do it for me this morning. Y'all go ahead, have yourselves a great day, man. For Pels in the Blender, I'm A. Davis. I'm out. Y'all be safe. I will see y'all again this weekend or month for show Monday. I'll see y'all for show Monday. Y'all enjoy yourselves, man. Have a good day. I'm out. Peace.